Go. Oh, I kind of knocked it. Hope it's all right. Okay. This is the Algebra 1 video 2 for section 1.2, solving multi-step equations that are more than just two-step equations. So learning targets here are we're going to solve equations that require combining like terms and solving equations that require using the distributive property. And those basically we're just going to do a few examples of this. We're going to talk through them. You'll have an opportunity to work through some examples, then we'll go over them together here, and well, let's just go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with this problem. We want to solve negative 12 equals negative 9x, oh my goodness, positive 9x, woo, minus 6x plus 15. Right, so you should be taking notes on this, and then we're going to check our solution. Check your solution. So you should be taking notes on this shit. Paper out, pencil, writing it down as we go over it together. So let's look at this. And it's totally fine to like try to work ahead, like pause the video, work ahead, give it a shot, see how it goes. And then watch and see how it goes, like see how you did. We're gonna look at this, all right, we got negative 12 equals 9x minus 6x plus 15. So remember we've got basically like the left side of the equation, the right side of the equation. So we're saying negative 12 is equal to combining all of this stuff together. So we look at it, we're like, well, we got two things with an x. We have we have 9x's and minus 6x's. And we got this 15. X is representing some number that we don't know yet. It's an unknown value. So we have 9 of this unknown thing minus 6 of this unknown thing. So how much total of this unknown thing do I have if I combine a positive 9 minus 6 of it? Well, what we can do is we can do what's called combining like terms. So we're going to combine like terms. And what we do here is we just combine the coefficients, the numbers in front of the x. We're going to say 9 minus 6 is 3. So really, I have 3 x's. I have 9 of these things minus 6 of these things. That means there's 3 of those things left over. There's 3 x's left over. So here what we did is we combined like terms. They're like terms because they're alike. They just have x's. We combine them by going 9 minus 6. And they're terms because they're combined with addition or subtraction. So this 9x minus 6x turns into a 3x. We still have a plus 15 there. And it's still equal to negative 12. Now we just have a two-step equation. Negative 12 equals 3x plus 15. You should be pretty confident that you could do this problem on your own. Right, we're saying what's happening to x? Well, it's getting multiplied by 3, then we're adding 15. We're going to do the opposite of addition, which is subtraction. We're going to go minus 15 on each side. When we do that, right, we're going to be left with a 3x here, because 15 minus 15 is 0. Now we have a negative 12 minus 15. So we can think of it as being like 12 feet underground, and we go 15 more feet underground. So now we're going further in the negative direction here because we're at negative 12 minus 15. So it's negative 27. You can think of it as combining the numbers. They're both negative. The answer is negative when you're adding and subtracting like this. So negative 27 equals 3x. 3x means 3 times x, so we do the opposite of multiply, which is divide. Divide by 3, and we get negative 9 equals x. And that is our answer for that one. Now it did say check your solution. Let's go ahead and check it and see if that's right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace each of these x's with a negative 9. I get 9 times negative 9, so instead of 9 times x, minus 6 times negative 9, and then plus 15. So 9 times negative 9 is negative 81. I have minus 6 times negative 9 is negative 54, and then plus 15. So here I have negative 81 plus 54 plus 15. I'm going to combine my positives. Doesn't really matter the order, but I'm just going to do it that way. So 54 and 15 gives me 69, and I have a negative 81 plus that. And if I go Negative 81 plus 69, those two numbers are 12 apart, so we get a negative 12, which is, oops, sorry, what we wanted. Yeah, we're like, woohoo, we got it. Cool, and we can make this a little happy guy. See, he's pointing with his fingers. Yeah! Okay, so that's that problem. The different part here was this first step of combining these like terms. So I'm going to give you a couple practice problems here. I want you to pause the video after I write them up. Try the two practice problems on your own, and then we'll go over them real quick. Okay, practice problem number 1, we have 5a plus 4a, that's it, they're both a's, minus 10 plus 2 equals 19. So go ahead and try that one. And then we have negative 2x minus 10x plus 12 equals 18. Go ahead and pause the video, try those two problems, and I'll still be here, I'll just be paused. I'm probably standing right in front of it, aren't I? There you go, now I'm paused. Alright, so hopefully you paused it, did them, then hit play. If you didn't, do that now, do them. Hopefully you did it now. Did you get a equals 3 and x equals negative 1/2 here? Because I believe those are the correct answers. If you did, awesome. You can probably kind of like speed through this next a little bit. If you didn't get those, watch as I go through these problems, these two problems, and see where you made your mistake. Making mistakes is arguably one of the best ways to learn something. So if you made a mistake, great. Just make sure you learn from it. All right, so here, we're gonna look at this. We've got the 19 on this side of the equal sign, right? Remember, we can kind of break it into two pieces. We've got this expression equals this expression. It's an equation. So I have 5a plus 4a minus 10 plus 2. So we're gonna look for like terms. Like terms are things that are like the same-ish. These both have an a. It's 5a plus 4a. So we got 5 of this thing, this unknown value, plus 4 of this thing, this unknown value. How much total of this unknown value a do we have? How many of them? We have 5 of them plus 4 of them. We're going to combine those like terms because they're both something a. And we're going to go 5 plus 4 is 9. So we have 9a there. And now looking at this negative 10, this minus 10 plus 2, those are both regular numbers. Those are also like terms. They're just representing numbers. So here, I'm going to have a negative 10 plus 2. The negative 10, the 10 is bigger than 2, so negative 10 plus 2 is going to give me a negative number. It's going to give me negative 8. I'm going to write that as 9a minus 8. And it's still equal to 19. All right. Now, simple two-step equation. 9a minus 8. I'm going to go plus 8 plus 8. Do the opposite of that, minus 8. That gives me 9a equals 27 again. Oh, look, 27. And then I'm going to divide by the 9, because 9a means 9 times a. Divide is opposite, multiply. And we get a equals 3, just like we said. Yeah. Cool. Hopefully that helped. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this one. And remember, if you already got these, you can fast forward through. That's okay. All right, once again, looking at this, all right, say, oh, we got stuff equals 18. We got the two sides of the expression, or sorry, two sides of the equation. This expression is equal to the number 18. We got to find out what x value makes that true. So what we do here is say, well, these are both, there's like a negative 2 of this thing, x, minus 10 of that thing, x. They're the same thing, they're just x. So we're just going to combine those. We're basically going to combine the negative 2 and the negative 10 to see how many of this x thing we have. And because they're both negative, it's going to get more negative because we're just combining. We're not multiplying, we're saying negative 2 minus 10. So we get negative 12x plus 12, because that 12 is just a 12, equals 18. All right, now, simple two-step equation, simple, we can just solve. So subtract this 12 on each side, and we're subtracting this 12 because that's the 12 that is not being multiplied by the x. Right? We're going to keep this negative 12x here because that's a multiplication that's happening there. So we got negative 12x equals 6. Resist the urge to add 12 to both sides. This is a negative, not a minus. So it's saying negative 12 times x. So the action happening on x is multiplication. So what we need to do is the opposite, which is division. So we're going to divide by negative 12 to get x equals, well, 6 goes into 12 2 times. Because the 12 is in the denominator, the 2 is going to be in the denominator. And we got positive divided by negative, so it's negative. Or 6 over 12 is 1/2. And that's what we said, x was 1/2. Wonderful. Cool. So, take a moment, look at these problems. If you have questions after watching this, find me during my asynchronous office hours or send me an email and we can talk about it. Okay. All right, we're going to do a few more examples. So I'm going to erase this, and yeah, that'll be that. We'll leave that one up there for a bit. All right, so the next step in these, the next progression of these problems is an example like this. So take notes on this example. I'm going to say 13 equals negative 2 times the quantity y minus 4 plus 3y. All right. So write that down in your notes on your piece of paper. And really quick, while you're writing it, we say, what's different about that problem with respect to the other ones that we just did? Think about it. Take a moment. How's it different? Say it out loud to your computer. Like drink a sip of coffee. I mean, you probably noticed these things right here, right? The parentheses. So instead of just saying like we have negative 2 x's, here we have negative 2 of these y minus 4s. So whatever y is, whatever that number is, like let's say it was 10, this quantity right here would be 10 minus 4 would be 6. So we have negative 2 of this thing that's 4 less than y plus 3 of these y's. So these, this, and this are different terms. They're not like terms. So what we have to do is we have to simplify it so that we have like terms. And the way we do that is by using the distributive property. The distributive property is kind of how multiplication, division interact with addition, subtraction. And what we can do, if you ever have multiplication and then a grouping, parentheses, and inside the parentheses, if you have addition or subtraction, you can distribute that multiplication through the addition or subtraction. So what I'm going to do is, basically, I'm going to go negative 2 times y and negative 2 times a minus 4. And I was going to say remind me. You're not going to be able to remind me because you're watching a video. But I got it on my screen to remind me. We'll go over a little example of why the distributive property works. But right now, let's just use it. So here we have 13 equals negative 2 times y is negative 2y. Negative 2 times minus 4. When we do this multiplication, we're going to pretend this is a negative. To go negative times negative makes a positive. So we're going to get a plus 8 there, because 2 times 4 is 8. Negative, negative makes it a positive. And then we're just going to bring this plus 3y out here. Notice, the negative 2 did not multiply by this 3y, because that 3y is not part of that group. It's not inside those parentheses. Okay. So now we have a problem very, very similar to this one, right? Let's go ahead and say, what's the first step here? What should we do now? Say it to your screen. Hopefully. And there's more than one first step. But we can look at this and be like, oh, check it out. Negative 2y, positive 3y. They both have y's. We can combine like terms. Yeah, you could have subtracted 8. That would be okay too. But you'd have to combine these eventually. So let's just combine them now. basically we have a -2 and a 3, so it's like 3 minus 2. So here I have 13 equals 3, -2 is 1y. Whenever you have 1y or 1x, you don't need to write the 1. It is implied. You can write the 1 if you want to, but you don't need to. It's okay. And then we still have this plus 8 here. So 1y plus 8. So 13 equals y plus 8. And then we just subtract the 8 to finish solving the equation. And we get 5 equals y. And we can double check this. If I put 5 in for y up here, I get 5 minus 4 is 1. -2 times 1 is -2. So I get a -2 plus 3 times 5 is 15. -2 plus 15 is 13. And we're like, yeah, we got it. Okay, I'm gonna throw 2 more problems up here just like I did before. I'm gonna have you pause the video and work on those. And then we're gonna go over them. 3 times x plus 1, quantity, plus 6 equals -9. Go ahead and try that one. And then I'll erase this and put the other one right here. So here we have -4 times 2m plus 5 minus 3m equals 35. So go ahead and try those 2 problems. Pause the video, try and work them out. Hopefully you paused it, hopefully you're back. Here, did you get x equals -6? And here, did you get m equals -5? If yes, you probably did it right. If not, let's go over it. Let's work through it. All right, step 1 here should be just like step 1 here. We have number, parentheses, right? 3 of these x plus 1s plus 6 equals -9. Let's distribute that 3 through. So we're gonna go multiply that 3 through the parentheses, through that addition. So we get 3x plus 3 plus 6 equals -9. So now we can notice here there's an x, 3x, and then there's a 3 plus a 6. We can combine those like terms because they're just regular numbers. We're just simplifying here. So here we get 3x, still that 3x, plus 3 plus 6 is 9, equals -9. Now resist the urge to just cancel those out and make them zeros. That doesn't work that way. One of the big mistakes I see in Algebra 1 is kids like look at something, they're like, I got it! And they forget like to actually go through the steps of the problem and to logically like break it down. Some kids are just looking too much for that shortcut. So make sure we know what we're doing. 3 times x plus 9. So we gotta do the opposite of plus 9, which is -9. So we're gonna go -9 on each side of the equal sign. So that gives me 3x equals -18, because these are both negative. -9 minus 9 gives me -18, more negative. And then divide by 3, and that gives us that x equals -6 that we said before. All right, so we'll come back to this. There is another way that we could have done this, and we'll talk about it at the end if you're still around for it. All right, let's look at this one. This one, the answer was m equals -5. If you got that, you probably got it right. But if you didn't, let's go over it. So here, we've got this -4 and then times 2m plus 5 here. So we're going to distribute a -4 through those parentheses, just like we distributed a -2 here. So that gives me -4 times 2 is -8, and we still have the m, right? And then minus, we've got the 4 and the 5 give us 20, because a -4 times a positive 5 would be a -20, so minus 20. And then we have a -3m, and then it's still equal to 35. Hey, so now we look at this, we're like, aha, M&M, yum, right? I like mine with peanuts in them. Peanut butter M&Ms are pretty good too, but it's just there's an M here and there's an M there. So those are like terms, we can combine those like terms. -8m, -3m, a -8 minus 3 is once again going to go more negative, and we're going to have negative 11m minus 20. We still have that minus 20 equals 35. And then just solve this two-step equation. Negative 11m minus 20. We're going to add 20 to both sides to get rid of that subtraction. So negative 11m equals 55. Remember, this negative 11 is multiplying by the m. So to get rid of that negative 11, we're going to divide by negative 11. We're going to divide by negative 11. And that gives us m equals that negative 5 we were talking about before. So we're like, hooray! Yeah! All right, cool, we got it. So real quick, looking back at this problem, if you have a case like this, where there's just one x, notice there's just like one x in here, and there's no other x's, right? The distributing going through right here. What we could do, we could solve this by working backwards, by just identifying what's happening to x. All right, it's x plus 1, then times 3, then plus 6. What we could do is we could just reverse the order, right? We could just go like minus 6 on both sides, get 3 times x plus 1 equals negative 15. So, okay, cool. X plus 1, and then multiply by 3. Multiply by 3 is the last thing. So we divide by 3 on both sides. So we get x plus 1 equals negative 5, and then just subtract 1 on each side, and we still get x equals negative 6. Gives us the same answer. So sometimes you can just solve by working backwards. You don't always have to distribute. In this case though, where there's a y inside the parentheses and a y outside the grouping, outside those parentheses, distributing first is the best bet. So for these types of problems where you have variable inside and outside of the parentheses, just distribute, combine like terms, go from there. If there's just one unknown or variable inside, you can just work backwards. But you could just distribute and then solve normally. Okay, so that's it as far as examples go. I'm going to show you real quick what the distributive property means, and then, but you're welcome to turn off the video and start on the homework if you'd like. So let's say we have 3 times x plus 1. What this is saying is we have x plus 1 plus x plus 1 plus x plus 1. There are 1, 2, 3 x plus 1s all combined together, all added to each other. That's what 3 times x plus 1 means. Now here the parentheses don't really need to be there if we're just adding everything. So we can say, well, check it out. We have 1, 2, 3 x's plus 1, 2, 3 1s. It's just the same as skipping, writing it all out and going 3 times x plus 3 times 1. If I made this a 2 instead of a 1, it'd be 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6, or it'd be the same as 3 times 2 is 6, right? That's why the distributive property works. That's why we can do that multiplication through, because remember, multiplication is just repetitive addition, it's just adding over and over again. Okay, cool. I believe that's it. You should be ready to solve the assignment on bigideasmath.com. The last 2 problems of the homework assignment are going to ask you to explain the steps for a problem that's already been solved all the way out. So you'll see something kind of like this, and then it'll have questions over here that you drag and fill in the blanks. The first step is always just write the equation. It seems kind of silly, so I just want to let you know, just write the equation for the first one. So good luck on the assignment. Feel free to contact me during my office hours or the asynchronous time that I have set up, or just send me an email, and hope it goes well. All right, thanks for watching. And I got to turn it off.